Let's talk about Representative Clay Higgins of Louisiana. Clay Higgins loves to perform like he's some righteous, God-fearing crusader. He talks with that sermon in a police station swagger, pretending he's the moral spine of Louisiana. But the second the moment demanded real courage, the second he had a chance to choose between protecting survivors or protecting powerful predators, he collapsed instantly and completely. This man had a chance to stand with the victims of one of the most notorious trafficking rings in modern history, and he chose the filth.
Who is this file protector that voted no? He does not want the Epstein files released. Representative Higgins from Louisiana. Louisiana, do you guys claim him?
From Louisiana. He's also described David Duke as a homeboy. He's also been in the news for
34 people did not vote to release the files, which we know the answer was they didn't want the files to be released. But there's one person that was outstanding, Clay Higgins from Louisiana. He voted no. And they are eating him up. The internet has already started doing its work very fast. You people are very fast when it comes to justice. You don't see it. The internet has already unveiled things about him, the records and who is giving him money and all of that. And the people from his constituency, they are like a midterm. Shh, 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 shh. Pack your bags and go. And a lot of people are already saying, he might be on the... Yeah, I don't know. But I want us to look at some of the reasons he gave why he did not vote and the others that didn't vote. And what is up? Like, what's up about him that the internet has already found? What are the people from his constituents saying as well? We'll come back and talk about it. I want you guys to let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think he's on the list? Or I don't know. I'll be back with more.
You've got a statement from Representative Clay Higgins. The only no here, my guess is it's because he had been saying from the very beginning by just his principles, he was voting no because he didn't want to see innocent people being hurt.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Kira, and that's really what this statement says. I'm going to read in part to you what it says. He says, if enacted in its current form, this broad reveal of criminal investigative files will absolutely result in innocent people being hurt. He goes on to say if the Senate amends the bill to properly address privacy of victims and other Americans who are named but not criminally impacted, then I will vote for this bill when it comes back to the House. But you heard there from Jay talking about the ongoing process, and I will tell you just from the number of Republicans I've talked to even today, I mean, that is part of the concern here. This bill has now cleared the House. It now goes over to the other side of Capitol Hill. It goes over to the Senate. If they make changes, as Jay said, then it comes back here over to the House. They'd have to pass it before sending it to the president's desk. That is a process that could then take weeks. That's weeks that this Epstein saga remains in the news cycle. I know many here on Capitol Hill, especially within the Republican Party, are eager to move on and move past this. I do want to note, though, the vote tally here is quite significant. I mean, we've been covering Congress now for years, and it is hard to find Democrats and Republicans really agree on very much these days. The fact that this was a sweeping and significant bipartisan vote, not just from Democrats supporting this, but also Republicans that are calling from transparency, even though the White House, the Trump administration, the president himself, Republican leadership tried to stall this very vote now for months. In the end, it did come forward, and you saw it there. That vote tally is quite significant. A number of Democrats and Republicans voting to pass this, with the exception there of Clay Higgins, the Republican.
Meet Clay Higgins, the only member of the House of Representatives to vote against releasing the Epstein files. An interesting move. One might even argue, are you okay? Are you inebriated? Did you accidentally slip and select the wrong answer? The answer was yes, sir, because I do fear that you have possibly committed political suicide. However, that being said, I think he meant what he said and he said what he meant, because let me give you a few highlights little bit of research as to who this individual is. All you really need to know is that in 2017, after a terrorist attack in London, Higgins wrote the following on Facebook, quote, and I quote, "The free world, all of Christendom, is at war with Islamic horror. Hunt them, identify them, and kill them. Kill them all." Obviously, this drew widespread criticism for the language. Another incident, he produced a video at the Auschwitz-Birkenau Memorial and Museum gas chamber site stating the U.S. must be invincible, which obviously politicized genocide. And then, as recently as September of 2024, Higgins posted a message repeating the debunked claim that Haitian immigrants eat their pets, calling Haitians, and I quote, "wild, nastiest country in the Western Hemisphere." Louisiana's 3rd District, when the time comes, you know the assignment. Get out and vote.
What kind of person looks at a list of trafficked girls, decades of abuse, and a chance for justice, and chooses to protect the predators instead of the victims? Let's talk about Representative Clay Higgins of Louisiana. Clay Higgins loves to perform like he's some righteous, God-fearing crusader. He talks with that sermon in a police station swagger, pretending he's the moral spine of Louisiana. But the second the moment demanded real courage, the second he had a chance to choose between protecting survivors or protecting powerful predators, he collapsed instantly and completely. This man had a chance to stand with the victims of one of the most notorious trafficking rings in modern history, and he chose the filth. And here's what makes it even more pathetic. The bill would have been a unanimous vote in the House, and eventually became a unanimous vote in the Senate. Every Democrat, every Republican, every independent, all agreed the Epstein files should be released. Every single one. Except Clay Higgins. He made himself the lone no in all of Congress. The only person who thought shielding abusers mattered more than delivering truth to the survivors. Clay Higgins didn't just vote no. He voted against transparency, against accountability, against women who were preyed on as girls. It takes a special kind of moral decay to look at what those files represent. Decades of exploitation, trafficking, and cover-ups, and still decide the public doesn't deserve answers. The victims don't deserve closure. The predators deserve privacy more than survivors deserve justice. What kind of person does that? A bottom-feeding coward who performs tough guy theatrics because there's nothing real behind his bluster. Clay Higgins loves to play the grizzled lawman, but when he finally had the opportunity to defend actual victims, he threw them straight back into the fire. He exposed himself as a loudmouth with no integrity, no backbone, and absolutely no regard for the women who were girls that were victimized. He didn't think about the girls whose names made headlines. He didn't think about the women who've spent their entire lives trying to recover from trauma inflicted by billionaires, politicians, princes, and men who treat them like disposable toys. But he did think about who might get exposed, whose donors might panic, whose allies might sweat, whose names might show up when those files hit daylight. Clay Higgins isn't just a lowlife. He's the only lowlife in Congress who looked at the pain of those women and chose to stand with their abusers instead. Makes you wonder, is he in the files?
Well, the votes are in. And one member of the GOP voted against releasing the files for everyone to see. No surprises here. We knew there would be at least one, dear. Yes. And of all places, he just so happens to be a representative coming out of the state of Louisiana, Clay Higgins, honey, and he's already took to the Twatter Street to try to defend himself right directly after casting that vote. He already knew people were going to turn their looks his way today. And the excuse that he decided to use was basically the same thing that Creepy Peepee tried to say before the vote went down today, that he's voting against this bill because it does not protect the victims well. Louisiana, listen to me loud and clear. The victims have spoken on live TV on more than one occasion fully supporting and backing that bill the way that it is written currently today. They don't want it amended. They do not want it changed. They like it the way that it is written today, because there's already a law on the books that says you cannot release their names and their personal information. And I also want to remind you today that it was the members of the GOP last week that decided to break the law and mention the name that was redacted in the emails last week. Yes, the bullshit Barbie took to TV to say that that redacted name was Virginia Guffey's. And the members of the GOP fell in line right behind Crackerline and started blasting Virginia's name all over TV and using it for political gain. So I'm sorry, Clay. Your excuse that you're using today doesn't line up with the facts. Louisiana, you got a big problem. Creepy Peepy Mike Johnson and Clay Higgins go really hard to protect predators by any means necessary. And I do mean by any means, whether it's shutting down the entirety of the government, holding the House in recession, or sending the bill over to the Senate today, demanding that they twerk it a bit and add some shit and take some shit out, honey. Remove Clay. Is he up for re-election in 2026, dear? Is he up for re-election in 2026? Creepy Peepy is. I know that for a fact. Louisiana, do what you need to do, baby. Do what the f you need to do.
So, of course, it was Clay Higgins, the Trump ball sucker, that was the lone vote that voted no in releasing the Epstein files. That was damn near a unanimous vote, and now it goes to the Senate.
One person from the Republican Party voted no to releasing the Epstein files. I want to repeat it again. One Republican voted no to releasing the Epstein files today. And 34 people decided not to vote at all. To the one person that said no, and to the 34 people that didn't vote at all, you guys are a bunch of... You guys are...
Check this dude's hard drive. This is the one and only figure in the entire United States, in the entire House of Representatives, who voted against releasing the Epstein files. Here's a really funny post from last year where he's posting his Israeli Defense Forces hat. I stand with Israel. Yeah, you stand with traffickers. You stand with all that, bro. Even after Donald Trump himself told Republicans, vote for it. I have nothing to hide. You still wanted to hide it? What are you doing? This is the most obvious self-report I have ever seen.
Okay, so can you answer the original question? Who do you care about more, U.S. or Israel?
There's no variance. It's like you're asking, do you love your wife more than your daughter?
Well,
and you said it's a simple question.
It is.
Do you love your wife more than your daughter?
I love the United States more than I love Israel. It's a very simple question.
Great love, and you as a human being, you express that love, and you have core principles that drive you to your love for your wife and your love for your daughter. It's two different loves, but neither of them is greater than the other. You understand?
Who's the priority when you're casting a vote in Congress, America or Israel?
Priority is love, son.
Well, it's a very simple question. You're not answering it, Representative.
Who is this file protector that voted no? He does not want the Epstein files released. Representative Higgins from Louisiana. Louisiana, do you guys claim him? Looks like he's been married 4 times. Wow. And his first wife said that he threatened to shoot her in the head. But then later she died, sadly, so nothing really came of that. His second wife had to sue us to get child support. Looks like he was a supporter of not just Pat Buchanan, but David Duke. Of course, he's an election denier. And in response to a fucked up racial tweet that he made, he basically doubled down and said, so what? Try and stop me. Every other representative that is MAGA at least had the self-preservation to vote to release them. but not Republican Higgins. He wants the world to know that he is okay. Protecting file, basically, because the excuses he gave as to why he voted no are stupid, ridiculous, and insignificant because that shit's already being done. So, yeah. Did you claim him, Louisiana?
So the one person who voted against releasing the Epstein files is Clay Higgins. He's a representative from Louisiana. He's also described David Duke as a homeboy. He's also been in the news for threatening to kill one of his wives. He's been divorced multiple times, doesn't pay child support apparently, even though he describes himself as a 3%er. He voted for David Duke, the leader of KK, in 1991 to govern Louisiana. So Klan member, let's see, abuser, deadbeat dad, and his hard drives need to be checked immediately. Does anyone know where he lives? Because I feel like that's a really good protest location. As far as I can tell, he lives in Lafayette and or Port Bar, if anyone's curious. Oh, looks like he also got in trouble while he was a police officer for using unnecessary force and whipping people with handcuffs. I went looking this guy up for 5 minutes and found so much controversy over this man. Not surprised in the slightest at all.
This is Representative Clay Higgins from Louisiana, and god damn it, he is about to go viral. He's about to go viral because he's the only vote that voted no against the Epstein files being released. His argument is that releasing these files are gonna hurt innocent people. And get this, the list of people that he said would get hurt are family members, alibi givers, and even witnesses that are mentioned. Here's another kicker. He also refused a subpoena earlier this year when the subcommittee was trying to force the DOJ to hand over more Epstein-related files. He says that he supports transparency, but that this bill goes a little too far. He says that it abandons over 250 years of criminal justice procedure. In his own words, he believes that a full public dump would hurt more people than help them. For all we know, he's probably on the list. So yeah, while literally everyone else in Congress wants to see the files, this is the one man that does not. Either way, it doesn't matter what he thinks. 427 of his colleagues voted yes, while he voted no. Whatever his story is on why he doesn't want to release the files, it doesn't matter. He is now going to go down in infamy, in history, as the one man that voted no to release the Epstein files. Follow to hear stories that most don't talk about.
Except if the people that he's talking about getting harmed, they still, I'm talking about they, which is him and whoever is behind him, will be in it to bring harm to those people. Because once a case like this happens, then also protection is supposed to be given to the victims. Yes, because that's part of justice. Except if he knows the people that are gonna get harmed is people like him, Stephen Bannon, and all the best of the people that are in on it, like they are on the list. One day I found a video of a Ugandan man that was talking about how that blue country, right, blackmails US politicians. And you know, sometimes such videos you can't bring them because you know what I'm talking about. You can't, okay? Because otherwise, let's just stop there. But this man was talking about how that blue country literally blackmails American politicians. Forces, whatever you see a US politician voting on, if they say no, that is because someone behind them is telling them no. Because in actual sense, they are not the ones that are in power. I'm just saying. When we look at the surveillance and, you know, all the information that the internet already dug on him, you see who are the major sponsors of him and his own actions too. I've seen quite a lot of MAGAs too, especially MAGA Christians, talking about let's forgive and move on. Forgiving and moving on. Why would you forgive someone that has not asked for forgiveness? Scriptures tell us to confess our sins. That's what scriptures say. Confess your sins. He is merciful enough to forgive us. Okay? And then even scriptures encourage us to confess our sins to each other. That's what scriptures say. Now, why would you forgive someone? You telling people, forgive and move on. Forgive what? Forgive who? Who has not even come out to confess that actually I'm part of this. I saw, I think, Larry Summers, Harvard University, whatever, a professor or lecturer that went to his class and apologized. Yeah, because he was like, I am on the list. That's someone that deserves forgiveness because they have asked for it. Forget about this situation of always telling people, be the mature person and know this person is wrong and forgive them. Then that means you're not going to be holding people accountable, and people need to take accountability of their own sins. Because even in scriptures, biblically, yes, we will give an accountability of each and everything that we did in life, in our bodies, with the talents, with the gifts and everything that has been endowed to us, right? So how in the world do muggers know this person is going to be held accountable, or how are they going to give accountability? This is an enabling behavior of always thinking, oh, he knows, let us just forgive him. Meanwhile, they keep doing it and doing it and doing it. If this man is not held accountable for literally denying and holding justice back from the victims, Louisiana is enabling crime. Because from the look of things, the records about him are not good at all. Midterms are coming. Those of you that are in Louisiana, you all know what to do. But even the 34, you'll need to find out. I've tried digging to find out who are the 34. I haven't seen the names. But the good thing is, when they were signing on this thing, there are a lot of people that wanted to sign no anonymously. And they were like, no, every person that signs, they must come to record. Good, because now it is easy to hold these people accountable. You put them in those positions. They did not vote themselves. Accountability is supposed to be given to you, the people. These people are not as independent and powerful as they think they are. You give them and enable them to have the power they have. If you don't put them there, they won't go there. Okay? If you don't put them there, nobody's gonna... That's not how it works, okay? So accountability is supposed to be given. But for a grown-up man to be having such records and then to even, put salt on the wound, you voting no, you'll see. But at least those that voted yes are on record too. Look into the list of those that voted yes and look for those that did not vote at all, because why didn't they vote? On a big, this is like a cartel. The biggest crime scene. It's like, yeah, all the evil ones are getting exposed. And there are people that are daring not to vote on such a crucial matter. We need to find out who they are as well. And if they are coming, midterms are coming up and they also need to be put back, you should remember. I pray and hope that justice gets served whatsoever, and we know why most of them didn't want. And for those that are like, oh, they are going to redact the names and all of that, the world still has other files. The world. This is a cartel of powerful, rich people. All over the world, all over the globe. It's not just the US. So, I can't wait. What do you think? Where are you watching me from, first of all? Because if you're from Louisiana, I hope you see what your congressperson did. See you guys later. I love you. May you stay safe and may God watch over you and protect you. See you guys later. Bye all.